Well, my name is Heather May. I'm Ambry's mom. We started experiencing probably about a year and a half ago some behavioral outbursts. We noticed some OCD, we noticed some anxiety, hyperactivity for sure, but along with that came some anger, rage. It would get so bad that she would become physical with us, hitting, screaming, slapping. So the worst day for us is really rough. We were in the mall and we had to physically, two of us, carry her out and physically get her in the car. She was screaming. We managed to get out of the parking lot and start driving down Slide Road, and she was screaming that she wanted to kill herself, that she needed to kill herself, and so she attempted to jump out of the car while we were moving down the road. So that was definitely our worst day.
Hi, I'm Diana Dowd, Ella Dowd's mom. Well, Ella is 3 years old and she has Down syndrome. We got a pre-diagnosis with knowing that there was a heart defect. So when she was born, she ended up spending 6 weeks in NICU. She was born at 4 pounds, 8 ounces. So we struggled for about a good 4 months. They needed her to have surgery. They wanted her to have surgery before 6 months of age. She really didn't start living until she had her heart surgery and recovered. So she was already 8 months. So at 8 months, she was actually just born. I'll call it a born again. That's what I always say. She was born again after her heart surgery. And that's when, so she was 8 months behind from the get-go. When she first started therapy, we weren't even army crawling then, I don't believe. She's just rolled. She used to roll everywhere instead. And as a parent, you're like looking at others and you're like, oh my God, they're all walking, And then she was 20, so here is 2 years and no sign of that.
I am a veteran and I was in the U.S. Army and I was a combat engineer.
My name is Tanner Kelly. I am the veteran coordinator here at Refuge Services.
And mainly my job in Afghanistan was looking for IEDs.
I think the biggest thing is going from an organization that you're so a part of, that is so a part of you, and then you're just kind of nothing. You just kind of fall out and you're just kind of alone.
The stressful part is coming out and like, oh, okay, what do I do? I went looking for IEDs. How do I apply that to the real world?
Well, one of our clients here experienced a few IED explosions while they were in a vehicle. And so driving today is his most stressful part of his life.
So when I got out of the military, Fort Hood, active duty, it was different. It was like I went to jobs and I would give them my resume and they would tell me I'm overqualified.
Here at Refuge, we have been treating veterans who are suffering from anxiety problems, anger management issues, PTSD, physical injuries, drug and alcohol abuse, relationship and marital problems, nightmares, not being able to sleep.
A person's emotions reflects on a horse. And being out here, if I'm not calm and collective, then these horses will be hard to work with. But if I'm calm and collective and take charge, then these horses, they know exactly what they got to do. And it's amazing how that balance makes everything a whole lot stressful. And especially with veterans, a whole lot less stress is amazing.
I see it every time they come in, just the levels of anxiety plummet from the time they walk in to the time they leave. The anxiety, their overall attitude improves. Just this environment that Refuge is set up of being able to just decompress, and might be the only place they can actually do that. They can actually relax and open up without any judgment or any negativity coming from anybody else. And just that relationship they build with that horse. That's, for some of them, might be the most meaningful relationship they've formed since they've been out of the military.
So Patty was here watching the therapy session with us and noticed some behaviors that Ambry was having and thought that maybe we needed to explore a diagnosis that we had never heard of. And it did turn out that Ambry does have PANDAS. It is pediatric autoimmune neuropsychiatric disorders related to streptococcal infections. What happens is there's infection present in the body, so our autoimmune system creates these antibodies to fight off the infection. But in Ambry's case, and any other child who has PANDAS, the antibodies are misdirected to the brain and they attack an area of the brain that causes the psychiatric symptoms. We were told before we got this diagnosis, we were told that Ambry had oppositional defiant disorder. We were told that she had disruptive mood disorder, and then ultimately we were told that she was likely starting with bipolar disorder. So what was happening is they were tacking on more and more of the antipsychotics and mood stabilizers, and so it was not the appropriate treatment, and I know that everybody was doing what they thought was right at the moment, but without Patty we wouldn't be where we're at, because we would have never found this out and we would still be in the same position that we were in before.
So, I just feel in general with how everyone's view and how everybody has been very enfolding as a community here at Refuge. The feeling like, out there, everybody's giving you, from doctors or whatever, they give you the worst prognosis and they're saying, you can't, she'll never do this, they'll never do that. But here at Refuge, it's all about, I can. On Christmas Eve, we got the gift of her first army crawl. So she started army crawling all over the house, which was great. And she had started in, I think it was September, so just in a few months of having some hippotherapy, she was starting to army crawl, which was really good, and she was getting stronger. Then last July, actually 4th of July, she's walking on her own. So she likes to make big events the holidays. That being said, I would really think that if she didn't have this tool and these fine people here, she would not be walking this early.
The reason that Refuge Services is so important to us is because in this area of Texas, there's very limited resources for children with social, emotional, and behavioral disorders. If we would have known about this in the beginning, from the very beginning, and we would have been able to have access to this from the very beginning, then I don't think we would have gotten to the place that we got. I don't think that we would have gotten to the severe crisis moment that we got to. There were days when we did not have a single day that we could get through without having a crisis, a dangerous crisis. And now it's very rare that we have anything dangerous happening at all. Our best day, Ambry is happy. She's not, the anxiety is not there, and she's able to problem solve independently. And we have more of those days than we have of any of the bad days.